Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where mostly right now we're working on paying off the rather large amount of debt that we built up. That is the primary goal at this moment, and once we get that paid off, we're absolutely going to be building barracks. That is the goal right now. However, we are, as kind of a short to medium term goal, working a bit on getting Hokkaido and Sakhalin a little bit better under control. They do have some pop growth going on here. That is a good thing. A less good thing is building this coal mine. We maybe just immediately delete it once it's built. We cannot stop it since it's a private construction. But once it's built, we should be able to delete it, right? I'm pretty sure we can. We'll see if it causes a problem. I see they're building 2 of them there, actually, which is mildly awkward, to be sure. Okay, so 56 of... Oh, that's in Hokkaido. Hang on, 16 of 20. Okay. So we see that there is indeed a coal mine built here. We can just delete it. So it's not causing an infrastructure issue at this moment. So right now, I'm not going to delete it. We just want to have pop growth here. This is the big thing at this point. These are growing relatively quickly-ish, but they need a lot of growth. No doubt about it. They need a whole lot of growth. Our lead mines are going to be done actually fairly soon. Once those are done, I'm actually planning on putting that money into paying off our debt. I'm not currently planning on queuing up more things unless it is actually needed here. I mean, we do need more wood, but we can't build more wood. We could get more out of Hokkaido if there were people in Hokkaido. There are not people in Hokkaido, so that's not an option. I would like to start moving into attacking Korea, attacking China, attacking Russia. We're not in a position to declare any of those just yet, but they would be a very, very good thing to declare. So we'll get there soon, and we are almost back to where we were under Britain, but Britain was just too volatile. That British market, we couldn't ride that one out. That was not happening. So for now, this seems quite fine. How are we doing on our budget? Okay, we could definitely think about eventually tax cuts. Right now is not the time for that, but we could definitely think about dropping taxes down to here. Hey, pump jacks. Okay, we'll definitely be happy about that. So oil rigs are now unlocked, and automatic irrigation with oil being discovered in Chubu. We should actually queue up oil rigs in Chubu. This is actually huge. So we'll get these 30 built here. It will take a while to do that, 15 weeks each, but we'll get that going for sure. And then automatic irrigation, does that give us... Actually, we can go to power the purse here. Let's do that. For automatic irrigation, does that cost oil? Engines. Okay. We're going to do it. The question is, how many more engines are we going to need? Also, we'll go to tanker cars for our oil rigs, and that'll be fine. Now, we don't currently have much of a use for oil, do we? How much oil consumption do we even have? Let's go in here and take a quick look. Do we have any oil consumption right now? We're at minus 369 right now, sold by whaling stations, but pops need them. Okay, so pops just have basic needs for oil. We don't have any production methods that give us oil. Noted. What do we have being exposed over here? Ironclads? Okay, whatever. What do we have being exposed over here? Realism? Sure. That's okay for now. So let's get these oil rigs built. We're going to need them eventually, and that gives some time for the lead mines to like die down a little bit. So that's okay. Vacuum canning is spreading to us, sure. We're not running an engines shortage right now. I guess I'm not shocked about that. Those numbers that I was seeing weren't huge numbers of engines being needed. What is the price of engines, though? Let's check in here. How's that doing? Because that is going to drive up our subsidies. Actually, we can just check our subsidies here and see. Okay, yeah, that did have an effect. No doubt about that. That had an effect. So we should definitely consider building additional motor industries. And Kyushu would be a good place to do it. I'd like to take that up to 31, which is the economy of scale cap. So that is going to be what? Plus 20... No, plus 19? Yes. Okay, so we'll get that going. The oil rigs are kind of a lower priority than the motor industries, so much for letting our construction pause. But it's actually a good thing. We don't want to let our construction pause. Ideally, we want to just keep our construction doing what it's doing. So that'll be fine. Market access in Chubu has dropped. Is that due to infrastructure? Yes, it is. Okay, so we actually need also a railway in Chubu. Sure. So that'll do fine for now. We'll get all of that done eventually. We are definitely seeing our radicalism dropping sharply. That's very, very good. Our interest is going down. Our bigger concern right now is, in fact, subsidies, although that number has been dropping a little bit. Noted. Once we get these motor industries done, I expect that number to drop dramatically. What does motor industries take in? Tools, coal, steel. Okay, coal is going to be a potential issue there. Checking up in Sakhalin, let's take a quick look at what that coal mine is doing. Nothing. There's no population there. Nobody working in the logging camp. Nobody working in the whaling stations, which, to be honest, maybe we get rid of. 7.8 thousand people working in the port. And 1.4 thousand people working in the railway. Okay. Well, that's definitely grim there. No doubt about it. But we do see population growth of 0.6k, so we're getting about 600 jobs per year. It's not a lot, but we're getting some. So that's okay. Obviously, our numbers are way higher elsewhere, but I'm not shocked about that. How's our standard of living doing over here? Okay, that's come up markedly. I like it. It's not above the target yet, but it's definitely coming up markedly. Checking in on our institution. Yeah, that's okay. I also want to check in on potential law changes. Per capita. Okay, sure. We can't really change anything else as of now, sadly. But that's okay. We are about done with the Great Hunger. Our standard of living needs to go up by 3 total points, which means 0.06 more. We could potentially just cut taxes and do that right now, but that would cause us to run a deficit, which I would rather not do. We're running a coal shortage as well. I'd really like to get off of isolationism. That would be really, really good. Who would support this? The industrialists? What would we be at if we were to get a government with someone like the industrialists? 49. It's definitely not ideal, but it might be okay. If we were to do that, what would that give us support for? Landed voting, wealth voting, yeah. Mercantilism, protectionism, free trade? Let's do it. Okay, so that would be absolutely great to get our hands on free trade here. So let's get started on that. And this is mostly so that we can exploit other people's resources, right? That would be great. Now, this is going to be a little bit painful for the shogunate, no doubt about that. But let's get to work on free trade. And let's get that hopefully passed. Once that is passed, what would our next goal be? I don't know. We can't actually see what else is available. So for now, this is probably okay. Enacting propertied women, that might be something to do as well. If it's still there, we'll see. We'll see if it's still there. So our debt is not too bad, although our authority is painful. And that is because we had our reduction in decree costs expire. So we need to drop our emergency relief everywhere except Hokkaido and Sakhalin. We're still going to keep it up there for now. That will also drop our welfare costs, which is definitely good. We're happy about that one. So that'll be okay. Unfortunately, our standard of living went down a bit, and our authority has dropped again. Okay, so we're probably going to need to drop our emergency relief in Hokkaido. That puts us at -9. Okay. I don't want to drop the one in Sakhalin. I think that this is absolutely necessary here. Maybe it isn't, though. Maybe it isn't. Maybe we do this. Realism has been unlocked. Okay, so we have some production methods, mostly for, like, arts academies. Would this actually be useful? I guess. Sure. It's not very useful, but it's a little useful anyway. So that seems okay. How are we doing on the construction of our motor industries? We must have finished one of these rounds. Okay, cool. Coal shortage is going to be problematic, of course, and the wood shortage, it is what it is. There's not a lot we can do about that without expanding. And that is absolutely going to become the goal. We are absolutely going to be resource starved here in Japan, so we are going to push out and expand. No doubt about that. The Great Hunger is going to time out in 3 months. That's okay. Preserve isolationism? Okay, hilarious. So we'll see what ends up happening with free trade. Okay, there's a revolution to preserve isolationism. They only have very high radicalism right now. The shogunate resigned from the government. Well, that's rude. That's very rude indeed. Well, we'll see if we manage to pass this. They're at very high radicalism right now. That's not high enough to actually start anything. We're not going to let them actually rebel, though. But we really do want to pass free trade here. Yes, we do have an illegitimate government, and that will be a problem. Absolutely. Oh, right, we can't work on enacting laws because we have an illegitimate government. That means that we actually have to stop this. Okay, the shogunate is very, very upsetting. No doubt about that. We can bring them back into government here if we wanted to, I think, at this point. They're still considered revolutionary. What about enacting propertied women? I mean, maybe once we get the shogunate back in. Okay, so now we could do this with bringing the shogunate back in. That was an unfortunate experiment, but sure, understood. We could go for propertied women here. So this would end up giving us plus 5% workforce ratio. That would be good. Very good. It will reduce our birth rate, but that might be an okay thing at this point. Let's try it since we've got this movement here. The shogunate put their foot down. They said, we are not opening the market. So, sure. I guess we're not going to open the market. That's fine. So we're making about 100K per week right now. And that, of course, means we're going to have this credit paid down fairly quickly. That's good. We're getting these motor industries finished up. And that is, of course, dropping down our subsidies costs. So that's great. But our shortage of coal is going to continue to be a problem. Checking in on Sakhalin, yeah, there's not a lot to be done here. We just need people here, right? That's what we need more than anything here. It's just people working. And that's one of these things that property women will help with. 5% workforce ratio will be good. So we definitely need to continue to work on that. Motor industries will be done shortly. There's reinforced concrete, giving us more construction sector building throughput. Not like we're going to get much out of that with a wood shortage, but okay. We could grab steel frame buildings. That would help us with our wood tremendously. So let's actually do that. The Great Hunger is about to time out. Looks good. And I'd really like to consider going after Korea here, but I think we got to get these motor industries done first. That'll be fine. Tools are currently expensive. That's probably something private construction can handle. Honorable restoration is currently being worked on. We must restore power to the rightful emperor. Yes, actually, that is something we want to do. Will complete if shogunate are not powerful and shogunate are not part of the government. So we would need to get rid of the shogunate and reinstate the emperor. That's interesting. So the shogunate are, of course, 21.2% clout. That's a lot of clout. I mean, we can definitely do something about it. No doubt about that. Just going off of agrarianism would be good. So we would end up going for something like, I don't know, maybe laissez-faire here. We're starting to get to the point where laissez-faire would probably be okay. We could also go for a command economy, but I think that laissez-faire would be interesting, for sure. We need to get rid of isolationism first. Okay. We have a landmark case here, and yep, the shogunate are going to be upset, but, I mean, that's normal for the shogunate. Cool. So that brings us up to 49% chance of passing this now. That's really solid. We've got about 2 million left in our credit here, and our oil rigs are going to be done eventually. Yeah, they've got a ways to go yet. But we are working on all of these simultaneously now. Tools are definitely a little bit expensive, and I do see some market access slipping away here. Looks like it doesn't actually need work, though. Kyushu might. Nope, it does not. All of that's happening in private construction, so that looks good. No issue there, really. Beautiful. So, we are going to start building some barracks. I'm going to queue these up at the end of the queue. I'm going to queue them everywhere except, as usual for now, Sakhalin and Hokkaido. Hokkaido might be starting to get to the point where it can start to take some of these things, but we need to let it continue to grow for a while yet, I think. Everywhere else should be reasonably okay. So we're going to get a lot of these queued up. That's a lot. No doubt about it. But we are absolutely going to get started on those after the lead mines, after the oil rigs. Let's let those finish first. British Republic? Okay. Irish Uprising. Sounds interesting, for sure. So we should almost certainly go into consideration here, right? I mean, it's not a guarantee, but it's the most likely outcome. Cool. So it passes into consideration. That is great. We're almost out of debt here, only about 12 weeks to go. So overall, that looks very, very solid. No doubt about that. We're going to continue to advance our military very quickly here. What are we working on technologically? And how are we doing on our literacy? Still coming up nicely. Okay. We don't require more universities right now for purpose of getting our innovations up. So that looks good. These oil rigs are not too far away from finishing, to be honest, and we are going to be out of debt very, very soon here. Under 10 weeks. Beautiful. These oil rigs will be finishing as well. I want to check in. How are we doing with our population here? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So propertied women is going to be passing here shortly. I do think that getting off of agrarianism will be very, very useful for us. Does this not have... Hang on. One of these had political strength for the shogunate. Tenant farmers. Okay. So we'd want to go to something like homesteading there. The rural folk? Okay. That would be interesting. We could definitely think about that. That would drop the power of the shogunate dramatically, and I think that would be a very good thing to do. So we'll think about that after propertied women. Our best bet here is that this is going to go to adoption this tick, but you never know. We do have a like 80% chance of a good outcome here, though, so it's almost certainly going to happen. Now, we're going to be out of debt as of now. We are debt-free. So let's turn down our taxes here pretty soon. I guess we're not still going to be turning a profit at that point, but this is actually just in advance. Sure. We'll go up to 64%. That'll be fine. So we're making 100K right now. We do have some unrealized taxes. Is this just due to some uncollected wax taxes? There is a lot of tax waste there. But I want to check here. Oh, we do actually have some lack of taxation capacity. So each of these is giving us 10. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to take a little bit of time. And do we want to get some of this other stuff done first? I mean, yeah, but we also want these government administrations. We have kind of outgrown it, so we could definitely expand our government administrations more. That is reasonable, but it is not going to help the price of wood. That's for sure. We're going to need more wood. That is definitely a thing that's going to be happening. But we will be getting to these barracks soon. Very soon. We've only got a few lead mines to go and a few oil rigs as well. So really, let's move up these oil rigs and any of the lead mines that we've actually put progress into, like this. Let's get that done, and then we'll get these lead mines done after the government administrations. I just want to get this all completed. So that'll be okay. No problem whatsoever there. So we're continuing to press through these constructions. Oil rigs in Chubu going to be done very soon here. On this week, we're going to get 3 of them done. Only 3 to go. So that all looks great. How much do we have in this? 101 weeks in our construction queue? That's really not too bad. It's like 2 years, so yeah, not too bad at all. We'll have this all done, assuming I don't queue up more things, very, very soon. So that all looks solid. The real question now is, do we get propertied women here? I mean, the chances are good that it goes to adoption. We would definitely like to get 5% workforce ratio. We can see here that we only have like a 20% workforce ratio. Really, in advance? That's unfortunate, but this is now 84%. So the odds on that are incredibly good. We've got a large surplus at this point. I want to cut our taxes. We'll run a deficit for a little bit here. I'm hoping that we have this deficit taken care of through economic growth by the time we run out of gold reserves. That would be the idea. So, to be clear here, the tax cut will not directly create the economic growth. The economic growth is coming from the construction. However, the tax cut will help our standard of living, which will be very good in places like Sakhalin here. How are we doing there? Plus 0.61? Okay, it's definitely improving. Austria are improving relations with us. That's good. How are things going in Hokkaido? Okay, 1.5k annually. That's definitely improving as well. Cool. That does need a lot of work. But hey, no more deficit, at least for now. Our lead mine is done. Okay, let's move up the remaining lead mines at this time. This way we'll be working on the lead mines, and then the government administrations are being worked on behind the lead mines. That'll be fine. So we're going to get these government administrations done reasonably quickly here. There's not that many more of them to do. All looks good. We're probably going to need more of them fairly soon, to be clear. Yes, we're definitely going to need at least one more in Kyushu. At least one more in Kanto. At least one more in Chugoku. And one more in Chubu. Okay. So these 4 are going to be necessary. We're going to get these 4 lead mines done within 10 weeks. And the barracks will be started very, very soon. We just have 1 page of construction, then barracks. Law progress to adoption on propertied women. Sounds good. I would love to do another tax cut here. We could consider dropping a consumption tax as well. But I want to do the tax cut first. So we'll do that. That's going to end up dropping 116k. So we're definitely going to need a fair amount of economic growth for that. Or a law change. A law change would do it too. I mean, proportional taxation wouldn't be a huge change. Graduated would be the way to go. And that would get us about halfway there. Market access in Kyushu is a little bit low. Okay, checking in here. Yeah, we could definitely use a railway in Kyushu. So we'll get that queued up. That's fine. Lead mines done in 3 weeks here. Just 3. These government administrations are going to be dealing with that unrealized tax issue. We do have some subsidies going on, no doubt about that. We could think about reworking our subsidies, in theory. It might be an okay thing to do. Maybe. Probably not, though. The welfare payments remain what they are. How is our standard of living here? 7.4? Okay. This appears to be holding steady. They're still struggling, but overall, they'll get there. We just need to give them some time. That economy will need to get developed, and that will definitely take quite a while. So our government administrations are all being worked on at this point. Wonderful. That's absolutely great. Market access in Hokkaido has dropped. Okay, this is probably simply due to not having enough people working in this railway. That is indeed exactly the case. So, I think these coal mines were built by private construction. I'm going to get rid of all of them. They are not employing a single person. So we're going to get rid of those. There's propertied women. That's excellent, because that will, of course, bump up our workforce. So that's very, very good. It'll take some time, but that will indeed bump up our workforce. Phenomenal. So now we're starting to work on barracks behind all of this. That is going to be an overall drain on our resources, but that is expected. Yeah, market access is continuing to kind of fluctuate a little bit. Kanto, sure. We could probably get a... We have a couple going in Kanto. We'll need another in Kyushu, though. We'll get that going for sure. A few more government administrations to go here, but this is all looking good. With that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to build some barracks, and it's probably going to do some things to our economy. We'll have to work on that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.